when I was a backbencher, I was a member of the Oireachtas Communications Committee, and we often had RT and I said at one particular committee meeting, if it wasn't for the AA places like West Limerick would never get mentioned on the radio. So I wanted to, when the cattle break out in Timperclanton, it was always great to know that the N21 was going to get a mention. So look, I'm delighted to be here. And first of all, I want to thank the AA for the work that they do as an organisation across the board. And you know, Conor outlined and Eoghan outlined there the work that has been done over 100 years in terms of, you know, rating Irish hospitality. But there's also a practical side, and the staff of the organisation, and I was saying to Conor earlier on that I had occasion one time not to know where the lever and the bonnet of a car is. I wouldn't claim to know anything about a car, and I was left stranded on the side of the road one night. Not the most pleasant of experience, and in fairness to the guys that work and ladies that work in the organisation, they do look after you, and I think, you know, you have a lot of staff that are traversing the country in very difficult conditions and out of all types of weather and every type of, you know, condition that they're facing into, and I just like to acknowledge that. From my point of view, look, this has been a great year for Irish tourism, there's no doubt about it. I said to the Taoiseach the other day, record year for Irish tourism, nearly 10 million people visited the island of Ireland, worth 5 billion to the Irish economy, sustaining 230,000 jobs. Coinciding with my appointment, which he thought, and he'd be delighted to know that there's a Mayo All Ireland here tonight as well, and congratulations to the winners and the overall winner, Ashford Castle. So from my point of view, look, we've had a record year, but there are risks out on the horizon, and the biggest is Brexit. And I suppose from all of our point of view, we have to work together, we have to put plans in place, and we have to focus as to how we're going to best manage it. And this is going to involve, you know, us as an industry collaborating to make sure that the market that we've built up, where over 44% of our market comes from Great Britain, that we protect as much of that as possible. And that's going to involve investment in significant government investment through Tourism Ireland and Fáilte Ireland, but I think we're up for the challenge, and certainly I think the industry have, in fairness to them, rallied round as well. And what I would ask is, and the representatives of the industry here this evening, and I want to thank the host, the beautiful venue here in the heart of Dublin, which I want to wish well. But I think the industry needs to be conscious of the fact that you know, this is a time now when instability could cause potentially a lot of damage to an industry that has sustained employment at a time when we needed it. So over the next couple of months, as we work through the negotiations, both within the European Union and collectively as a government with the British government and others, we have to be very conscious of the fact that our single biggest market is Great Britain, and while we are anxious to grow other markets, particularly in North America and emerging markets in New Zealand and Australia and the Far East and everything else, you know, our nearest neighbour is our most valued asset. And in that point, we have to maintain competitiveness. We have to make sure that we don't slip into the heady days of the early noughties, where we didn't have a great reputation, quite frankly, and our product wasn't good. And we have to make sure that we invest in the product and that we keep competitiveness at the centre of everything that we do. And to that end, I think, you know, that the pipeline that Fáilte Ireland tell me in relation to the interest that's out there for the construction of new hotels in Dublin is positive, but we still have a long way to go, and I would urge the industry to make sure that price competitiveness is kept very much to the top of the agenda, because we do not need Ireland to slip backwards in terms of the contribution that is a fantastic industry sustaining over 230,000 jobs. We have invested heavily with brands like the Wild Atlantic Way and Ireland's Ancient East, and we continue to do that. And we will also invest heavily into the future in marketing. And we're at the start of the estimate process now for 2018, a lot earlier than usual. And I can, you know, share, I suppose, the fact that we are very conscious of the fact that this industry has an awful lot to offer. We want to make sure that the investment is continued and that the supports that the government have given by way of reduced VAT, the abolition of the travel tax, and events that were held in the past, like the Gathering, that we're able to replicate those into the future. And we're working with Fáilte Ireland to see, well, what is the next, you know, big thing that can capture the public's imagination, particularly in Britain and in our other near markets in Northern Europe and elsewhere. So look, tonight is a night for the industry really to kick back and enjoy and celebrate what has been a great year. And I want, on behalf of the government, to thank everybody in the industry. You know, ye all are front of house not only for your establishments but for Ireland Inc. Ye are ambassadors, and ye are in a lot of cases the first port of call that people will engage with when they come into the island of Ireland. And from that point of view, it's hugely important that, you know, the skill set that Conor referred to and the level of expertise, the approach that's there, the professionalism, the standard of food, the standard of the facilities, and all of the ancillary works that are done is to the highest possible standard. We have unquestionably one of the best tourist products in the world. And if you look at it, I mean, CSO figures are out today, 4.8 million people in the Republic and about 1,700,000 odd in Northern Ireland, and yet 10 million people visited the island last year. As I often say, it would be the equivalent of 2 billion people visiting India on an annual basis. So it shows you the quantum. It shows the quantum of what it is. But we have ambition, and we want to drive that ambition. We want to get the total figure up to 12 million, and we want to get the total employment up to 250,000, and that's very achievable. And I actually think that we will exceed that far in excess of 2025, which was laid out in our policy, people, place and policy. But look, from my part, from the government's part, I want to thank you for the work that you do, to assure you of our continued support. I have the best job in politics, bar none. I have tourism and sport, and part of my job for St. Patrick's Day was Australia and New Zealand, and there's a couple of people here with me in Fort Lauderdale and Miami and Atlanta, fortnight before that. And as I keep saying, it's a tough job. But I really enjoy working with this industry. I really enjoy being an advocate for the industry. And the reason that I do that is because every time I sit down and I engage with people like yourselves, I can see that there is a refreshing amount of good in this industry. The Taoiseach used the word in the election. I won't use it, but I'm glad to see that there is none of that within the Irish tourism and hospitality industry. There is a can-do attitude amongst people like yourselves, and on that basis, as a government representative, we're delighted to support you. We will continue to support you because you are one of our two indigenous industries that dragged us back from the mire in 2011, and for that we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Thank you, Minister, for those wonderful words. Thank you very much.